With 5 precision tools in one compact unit, the Mark V makes it easy and affordable for anyone to get the most out of wood.
Hi, I'm Brian Keller. Like millions of people, I've recently rediscovered woodworking. It made me realize what's missing in our hectic and high-pressured lives. Maybe you've noticed it too. It's the pride and satisfaction you get in creating something with your own hands. Woodworking is also a great way to save money on home improvements and make money in your spare time. Let me introduce you to someone who will really inspire you. He's built some exceptional pieces, but what's most amazing is the fact that he uses only one machine. It's the Shopsmith Mark V, and it's designed to make woodworking easy and enjoyable, whether you're a beginner or a seasoned expert. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, no problem, Brian.
This is Mike Young. He works for Shopsmith and is a master woodworker.
Well, thanks, Brian. I'm going to tell you right up front that I owe the quality of my work all to the Shopsmith Mark V. Anyone can get professional results because the expertise is built right in.
And you're going to show us exactly what you mean by that, right?
That's right. In fact, today you're going to see how the Mark V solves all the problems that most woodworkers face. Let's start with space. You never have enough space. Well, as you can see, the Shopsmith Mark V doesn't take up any more room than a bicycle, and it does the job of 5 different tools. This is a table saw, a disc sander, a drill press, horizontal boring machine, and a lathe.
So you get 5 of the most needed woodworking tools all in one unit?
That's right. Let's begin with the heart of the system, or the power plant. Now, the Mark V is a real workhorse system with a variable speed motor and a range of 700 RPM at the bottom end, all the way to 5,200 at the top. If you're just learning on the lathe, you may want to cut just a little bit slower. Then as you get a little more experience, you can dial the speed faster and cut a little bit faster. Once the piece is cut, dial your speed all the way back down to slow, take your tool rest out, and now you're set to add your stain and your wax, your varnish, all your finish with the piece still on the lathe.
Hey, Mike, did you turn this table leg on the lathe, too?
Well, actually, Brian, I did. In fact, on the Shopsmith Mark V, you can turn pieces up to 34 inches in length and up to 16.5 inches wide. Beautiful tabletops, legs, bowls, you name it.
You make it sound so easy.
Actually, it is. Let me show you. Now, what we're going to do is put our table leg back in here. And really, with any lathe turning, you always start with your workpiece and round it out. Let's put our safety glasses on, and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. Now, once your piece is nicely rounded out, there's really only 2 decorative cuts that you need to learn. One's called a bead, which is like a hill, and the opposite, a cove or a valley. Let me do a bead cut for you first. There's that little hill. The cove starts by setting the depth with a parting tool. Then right back to this chisel. And there's that cove. You see, Brian, it's all in the wrist. If you can scoop ice cream from a container, you can master this in just a few hours of practice.
I'm a missionary, and I live in the Pacific Islands, right now in the Fiji Islands. We've also lived in the Republic of Belau. I got the Mark V about a year before I went out, and I just simply loved it. Did all kinds of stuff with it, and I couldn't separate myself from that thing. I still have it today. I've built boats with it. I've a couple dozen boats. I've built houses, probably about 3 missionary residences. I've built toys for the kids, furniture for our family, furniture for other pastors and pulpits, and about anything you can think of. Being in the islands, we have to make what we need, or the machine has paid for itself over and over. What I liked so much when I first started is the backup service, the educational stuff that Shopsmith provides. All the tricks and things that you can learn, that they're there to help you and tell you everything they know. And it sure is a great help. And I think if somebody is afraid, just jump in and let Shopsmith help you. When I jumped into it, and I've been into it since 1982, and I tell you, I'm so happy. I don't want to switch. I just want to upgrade And all the new things that come out, I'm there. I don't know if I could value how much it's done for me, but when you talk in terms of building houses and boats and furniture, and you just would be without it where we are in the islands, unless I could make it myself. Just invaluable.
No matter what kind of woodworking you do, the heart of any shop is a good table saw. And here's the best.
Changeovers are always quick and easy on the Shopsmith Mark V brand. In fact, in most instances, you'll spend less time setting up the Mark V than separate tools. Now, the longest changeover in the Mark V is from the lathe to the table saw. Reason being, you have the most pieces, 3. A lower saw guard, the 10-inch diameter blade, and once those 2 pieces are in position, just take your main saw table, drop it right down over the top. Once that's completed, you're ready to cut wood. Now, there are 2 important things to look for on any table saw, the depth of cut and the length of cut. And in both ways, the Mark V has everyone beat. The Mark V has a 3 1/4 inch depth of cut, making it possible to rip or cross-cut all but the largest of pieces in a single pass. You can even rearrange tables in a number of different ways to accommodate different size materials, even plywood and paneling.
The safety features are also a great comfort to beginning woodworkers, aren't they, Mike?
Well, they're great for the experienced woodworker, too. In fact, Shopsmith includes a woodworker's safety package with every Mark V. It includes pieces like the push stick for passing lumber beyond a blade, or the push block for doing your dado and molding type cuts, the fence straddler for doing real thin molding type of a cut, and even a feather board for holding your pieces firm against the fence. And Brian, I saved the best for last. Shopsmith invented this safety grip miter gauge to protect its users. The mechanical action holds the piece 5 times firmer than on a standard saw, and anytime you're using it, your hands are never near the blade.
You know, a lot of people, Mike, say that woodworking is a messy hobby. What's the answer?
Well, it can be messy. Here's the answer, the Shopsmith dust collector. It plugs right into the Mark V, eliminates all the dust and debris from the air.
I'll bet it saves time on cleanup, doesn't it?
Well, it does that, and it's a lot healthier, too. Let me show you how it all works.
Boy, I'll bet this is a terrific tool for do-it-yourselfers.
Well, it's certainly that, and I can prove it. Give me a hand with this piece of plywood.
Okay. As you can see, the Mark V can be expanded to support large 4x8 sheets and cut them right down the middle. That's virtually impossible on any other table saw.
Why do people go out in the woods and carve their name on a tree? So that a long time from now, that's still going to be there. Well, I think that's a little bit of immortality that we want. It sounds better than a headstone. By going over to Shopsmith and seeing what some of these fellows turned out, it built my confidence. And if they can do it, I can do it. And I wanted a trestle table. We needed a dining room table. Since I'm now a woodworker, I was going to make one. But I really didn't know how to do it, and I didn't have the confidence. I finally tackled the job. They created a monster when they gave me all those blue ribbons, but I'm proud of it. We wanted a new kitchen. We wanted a brighter kitchen, and I could have went to the store and bought them, but since I was a woodworker, I decided I'm going to make them myself. It took me 6 weeks to get them put together, but that's not very long. It hurts me to cut a board that's so beautiful sometimes, but I know that by cutting it, it's going to turn into something a lot nicer.
Whether you're new to woodworking or a master craftsman, the Mark V is the wisest machine investment you'll ever make. You've just seen it work as a lathe and a table saw, and those are just 2 of its 5 basic functions. In just a moment, you'll see it do even more. The Mark V is the tool to start with and the system you grow with.
Because of the equipment that we have, we can do almost anything.
There's not a thing that that tool can't do as far as building homes and furniture and boats. You add whatever attachment you need and you can just do anything.
For the Mark V, because of all the attachments and components, I mean, you can literally do anything with it.
I especially enjoy lathe work, bowl turning and making pens and pencils. I've recently, the last year and a half, I've spent a lot of time making a great number of pens and pencils and bowls.
Stay tuned, because in just a moment you'll see the Mark V do something that's virtually impossible with individual machines. And you'll meet a mother and daughter who paid for their Mark V 15 times over in just 1 year. The Shopsmith Mark V is a complete woodworking shop in one compact unit. A lathe, a table saw, a disc sander, a drill press, and a horizontal boring machine. And the Mark V takes up the same amount of space as a bicycle. So if you need your space and a little peace of mind, get your hands on a Mark V today. It surpasses all the others in precision, expertise, and value. The Mark V costs hundreds of dollars less than 5 separate machines of equal quality, and it comes standard with all these accessories and free self-study materials. We guarantee your woodworking success. When was the last time you created something completely unique? Something you could put your signature on and proudly give to a loved one? For some woodworkers, this is a pleasure that has really changed their lives. And the Shopsmith Mark V makes it easy and affordable.
The Mark V is a very accurate piece of equipment for the do-it-yourselfer. And it really makes the work easier.
My son and I have made many projects together, and we enjoy working the wood together.
It still does it very precise. And the other factor about the Mark V that I like is American made and its quality.
Now you're about to see something the Mark V does that's almost impossible if you have a number of separate tools.
What we're going to do is a compound miter cut. It's one of the hardest cuts to do unless you're using a Mark V. Now, I've already preset the table in relation to the blade. I'll go ahead and set my miter gauge. And we're going to use the miter gauge to hold the wood in place, and that'll prevent the wood from creeping. You can see the precision built right into the Mark V, because every time your joints come out beautiful, just like so. This is the same cut that you'd use to make a nice picture frame. I know you've seen, Brian, the molding around the trim of a bookcase, maybe an entertainment center, molding that hides the seam where the wall and the ceiling meet. There's 100 things you could do with this cut.
That's outstanding.
You know, I think we're ready to sand this now. Now, here's where you'll really see what I mean when I say that the expertise is built right into the Mark V. We've changed the saw blade to the disc sander and kept the table and the miter gauge setting exactly the same. In fact, the angles are already set. If you were working with 2 separate machines, you'd have the impossible task of trying to match the angles. It cuts sanding time in half with the 12-inch sanding disc and the ability to easily handle wood up to 6 inches thick in a single pass. For our precision sanding job, we need to take off exactly the right amount. We do that right here. And of course, the variable speed makes sure that any kind of wood that we're using, we'll never have to worry about burning it. Now, you'll also notice that the sanding disc comes to the wood rather than the wood coming to the sander. This guarantees always absolute perfect flat flush surfaces. Now, Brian, I think you'll be able to see the difference in that.
Oh my gosh, look at that. That is terrific. Really smooth. You know, Shopsmith builds expertise right into the Mark V so that you can get the professional results you want. And they offer something else that no other company can equal. Your Shopsmith Mark V comes with training materials and a toll-free hotline. Or you can call our factory direct customer service and technical toll-free numbers. We'll also provide to you free with your Mark V first-rate educational materials, a comprehensive owner's manual, a step-by-step self-study guide, and a 360-page hardback book titled Power Tool Woodworking for Everyone, specially written and illustrated specifically for the Shopsmith Mark V. We guarantee your woodworking success. Have you ever seen anyone use a horizontal boring machine in their home shop? Probably not. It's a production tool usually found only in fine furniture and cabinet making factories.
That's right, Brian, and they can cost up to $1,500 or more if you can find one. But the Mark V is an exceptional boring machine, and right now I'm using it to dowel up these boards for my tabletop. It's really very simple. The Mark V does all the measuring for you, and with this dial right here, we can actually set the depth of cut for the dowels to be used in our project. It bores holes in precisely the right place so you get flat, even surfaces each and every time. Now, Brian, let me have you help me. Would you put those dowels in there?
I can.
Now let's see how she comes out. How's that look, Brian?
Oh, that's gorgeous.
You know, this machine also lets you bore workpieces of unlimited length with exceptional precision and ease. In fact, so easy, a child could perform the task.
And if you're looking for a great way to enhance your income or spend more time with your family, the Mark V can help with that too.
We make just about anything out of wood. We make decorative pieces.
We make large items, we make small items. We have made cabinets before, and they have sold. Because of the equipment that we can do almost anything.
And we're online this year to do about $30,000 just on the mail order alone.
Just the one year of sales in the magazine, you can see that it's paid for itself, and we've been in the magazine for several years. So, yes, we would not be doing what we are doing now without the Mark V. There are so many times you need a drill press. There's so many times you need to rip your wood. There are so many times you just need straight precision cuts, and with the fence on the Shopsmith, you can do that.
You know, we would have to have all those individual pieces of equipment if we didn't have the Mark V.
We just don't have the space in our workroom back there for all of these big pieces of equipment.
We really enjoy it because it gives us an opportunity to do something together. It gives a woman the opportunity, if they're working in their home especially, not to have to worry about what they're going to do with their children.
I would not hesitate to take any woman into the workroom and show her how to use the equipment because it's that simple to use.
Most people that come up to us say, oh, but your husbands do all your woodworking, wood cutting for you. And we say, no, they don't. We do it.
We fired them.
And, yeah.
You can't possibly go wrong with the Shopsmith Mark V. For a lot of woodworkers, it pays for itself very quickly. And if you're wondering if you have to have a special talent for woodworking, forget those worries. Plus, Shopsmith gives you all the training and support you need right from the very beginning. As soon as you get your hands on a Mark V, you'll discover just how easy and enjoyable woodworking can be. It gives you the confidence and expertise to make your woodworking dreams come true.
The appreciation of the house is more than paid for all the Shopsmith equipment, if that's, I think, all the tools I own.
10 years from now, I know I can still get what I need because it's a long-term company. Service is great. They're friendly. They're there to help you, to make it work. The guys in the shop, they're Shopsmith people themselves. We talk the same language. They know exactly what I mean when I say I need this or can you help me with that.
I find that as far as learning to use the tool, you can learn rather rapidly. It's a question of using the Shopsmith.
Stay tuned because you're about to meet a man who's using the Mark V to create a legacy for his children and grandchildren. The Shopsmith Mark V is a complete woodworking shop in one compact unit. A lathe, a table saw, a disc sander, a drill press, and a horizontal boring machine. And the Mark V takes up the same amount of space as a bicycle. So if you need your space and a little peace of mind, get your hands on a Mark V today. It surpasses all the others in precision, expertise, and value. The Mark V costs hundreds of dollars less than 5 separate machines of equal quality, and it comes standard with all these accessories and free self-study materials. We guarantee your woodworking success. Some projects require a different type of drilling, and you're going to see another way the Shopsmith Mark V saves you time as well as space.
That's right, Brian. Watch. You'll see that the Mark V is also the very finest 16.5-inch vertical drill presses. There are no belts, no pulleys to adjust when you need to change your speeds. You simply use your variable speed dial. No other drill press makes it this easy to drill through any kind of material at just the right speed. It also has this double column construction for twice the stability, twice the precision. In fact, you even have a huge, fully tilting table for greater drilling convenience and versatility. You can even borrow features from one operation, add it to another, and do things that you can't do on standard equipment. Take the rip fence as an example. Being self-aligning, double locking, we can use it for a quick, accurate way to do straight line drilling operations. Or you can even combine the rip fence with the tilting table, create yourself a V-block for drilling round material. Your table legs, copper tubing, sprinkler pipe, it'll do all that. And let me show you one of the most unusual features of all, the rack and pinion motion built into the entire table. Very quick, very fine tuning of all your setups are done just like that. In fact, you can even do some of the most professional joinery in furniture building, like screw pockets. So let's take a look at a few of those. Well, Brian, it looks like it's just about time to put this project together.
That sure didn't take long.
Well, no, it didn't, and this is a piece that'll be around for a lot of years to come.
Mike, thanks so much for taking the time to show us what the Mark V can do.
Well, thank you, too, because it's always a pleasure to show and use the world's finest woodworking system. It's the only one you'll ever need.
That's right. And in this world of prefab and particle board, the Mark V is a great way to give your family heirlooms that future generations will treasure.
Making pieces for my family really makes me feel good. And people ask me sometimes, do you ever sell anything you make? And I said, no, I haven't had time. I got too many orders for my friends and family. My wife wanted a sideboard for our dining room, so I found some 100-year-old cherry, which I made the piece from, the right height so she could run her sweeper under it, and also the right width so it fit precisely in our dining room. I made the table and chairs for my son out of oak, and since then we had a little grandson came along, so I made a high chair to match the table and chairs. The china cupboard that I made for my daughter was inspired from the fact that she had all the china, no place to put it, and so I manufactured it myself and gave it to her for her wedding present. I've made numerous toys for our grandchildren, and some of them is my egg monster that I designed myself, and a little walking duck, and this puzzle you see on the table, and many others. I made my sister a trash container for her kitchen. I made one for my wife, and she saw it, and she wanted one, and as a matter of fact, I made one for both my sisters. And of course, I built my shop using the Mark V. This is like a memorial to John Keller. After I'm dead and gone, the pieces are still here, and the family will talk about them and pass them down from year to year.
The Mark V itself can be a legacy that's passed down from one generation to the next. The Shopsmith Mark V has been designed and built in the USA since 1953. Over 500,000 have been purchased, and the vast majority are still in use today.
It's been reliable. I still have my original 79 model, and it's never been to the shop.
My dad wasn't going to give that up. He's still using it. He's 82 years old. Still works on it, and I had to go out and buy my own.
No matter where your woodworking interests take you, there are over a dozen specialty tools you can add on to your Mark V without additional motors or stands. If you consider quality, performance, versatility, and value, the Shopsmith Mark V has no equal, especially at such an affordable price. Thanks so much for joining me.